I feel like the music that I'm singing is really influencing how I'm writing. Like,
really?
I just feel like the
Your next album's like
complexity-
Schmoid Schmollins or something? Because everyone's like, Lizzy, it's kind of exactly the show.
Okay, I'll start with, like, how did you get involved with this show?
Okay.
What about it felt
Oh my God, I'm
right
so happy to be doing
for
this.
you?
Sorry. Okay, I got involved with the show because the director, Alex Timbers, I had heard that he was a fan of my band, Lawrence.
Love.
And I was a fan of his for so many years. He's such an amazing director, and I had seen so many of the things that he had made. And I heard that he like wanted to meet, and this was years ago. And so my brother, Clyde, and I met with him and just like hung out and ate pizza.
Love that.
And then 2 years later, I got an email from Alex Timbers saying, I'm working on a show. Are you interested in like doing a workshop?
Yeah.
And so last summer I did the workshop and I was like, oh, I need to do that. I need to be a part of this. And so after a lot of like scheduling madness, as I'm sure you're familiar with too, with like touring and
Totally.
there was a TV show and
Yeah.
all this stuff.
Booked and busy.
I was booked and busy for like the first time in my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really am determined to make this experience work because it felt so worth it. And like after meeting Jonathan and Andrew Resnick, the music supervisor, and the choreographer Shannon, and the writers, it was just like, I needed to be a part of it. So
What about the role drew you to it?
So I'm playing a real person. I'm playing Connie Francis. We're both playing real people.
I know, it's crazy.
It's a weird experience because you really want to get it right and you want to like honor them properly. I felt like I was already a Connie Francis fan. Like the idea of playing this legendary woman in music was so daunting, but also like, oh my God, I have to do this. Yeah. I loved her voice. I didn't know honestly anything about her life story. I knew her hits. And the idea of like diving into learning about her life was so exciting to me because I feel like it's something I already do all the time. Is like, I'm obsessed with reading about women in music. Like it is just fascinating to me. It's also why I'm excited to talk to you. Like I feel like we all have this shared experience. And so the idea of learning about her and then getting to play her and sing these like iconic songs, I was like, it's the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. So did you have to do a ton of research?
There's like, okay, so there's a book called Trapped, which is where the writers of the show got a lot of their information from. And we all got a copy at the workshop. And there's not a lot out there about Nelly. Like, she is kind of a mystery. They basically only say, like, she just got back from the mental institution. She was there for 6 months.
Such a subtle detail, but I'm like, that's huge.
Yeah, but there's nothing really. There's like 3 pictures of her online, and it was like kind of crazy. So I feel like I was able to kind of. I mean, obviously she was a real person, and I want to, do her justice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there wasn't a lot to go on, so I kind of had to, at a certain point, put the research away. Like we all kind of put the book down at a certain point, and we're like, how do we make this our own?
I saw the show and I thought it was incredible and you're incredible in it. One of my favorite parts was Nelly's relationship with Floyd, especially being someone who has 2 brothers. Like I was like, oh, I found that so moving. And the way that their bond is kind of at the heart, you're like the heart of the show.
Nice.
So how was it like building that relationship, knowing that so much of the story hinges on their connection? And is that based on truth, or that was something that was kind of like...
I'm not really sure because there is, research about like the rescue effort and all the like logistical things that happen to try to get him out. But I think the relationship between Floyd and Nelly was kind of more from the brains of the writers and less from like based on real things. But I mean, it's Jeremy Jordan, it's like he's an icon and a legend, and I've been a fan of him for so long, and so to be able to work with him at all and in this capacity has like been insane. And we really have just tried to like it's like we're a family, it's like that's what I miss the most about theater, honestly, is like the community that comes with it. And it's been so fun to like build these relationships with these people and then have it then if you are all a family backstage, it's like it comes across
Totally.
stage as well.
Did you do a lot of theater when you were younger?
Yeah, in like high school.
Got it.
Yeah, and I wanted to go to college for acting, but
Really?
I did like pre-screens at colleges and stuff, and then I got into Berkeley College of Music
Casual.
before I auditioned in person at any of the acting schools, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do that, because at that point I felt like I felt more confident in music at that point. Acting was a little scarier to me, so it felt like the right move, and I don't know where I would be if I hadn't done that, because that's where I met my producer for my first 2 albums. That's where I wrote my first album. Like, I don't know what I would have been doing if I hadn't done that. So
what about acting seemed scarier?
well, at that point in my life, I was in high school and I had just started doing that, really. I mean,
Yeah.
it was something that was newer to me, and I was also super shy in high school, and theater definitely helped me come out of my shell a lot, but I was still, a little iffy on it. I've been doing music for basically forever, so it just felt like the right choice for me at that time.
I'm curious, like, we both write music.
Yeah.
Now we're singing songs as characters, not as ourselves. And like, I mean, I infer from your music that it is very autobiographical.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Like, what's your experience singing songs as a different person that are not about your life?
I kind of love it. It's kind of like really freeing. I mean, it's just the whole thing of like not needing to be in control of anything.
Yeah.
I wanted to come into this experience. I wanted to have this experience because I needed a change of pace, because I made my last album and it was amazing, but it took so long and it took so much out of me, and I had to make all the decisions, and I love that sometimes, but it got to a point where I was really burnt out with that. And so now it's like I just feel so freeing not to have to be in control, and I just have to make decisions about my character,
Right.
and how I portray that character, and that's it. Like, and I am just one piece of the bigger puzzle, and it's really
It
fun.
is such a different experience being like, your project is your name.
Yeah.
My project is my last name and my brother's last name. We share a last name. And it's like, it has to be about us and who we are as people and what we like. It feels so emotionally draining in some ways, because it's like when you put out a song, you're like, this has to represent everything about me. And you really want to get it right. And when you put out a video and when you put out one TikTok, it's like everything is like so important to feel like it means something to you and that it represents every side of you. And there is something really freeing about like, I'm actually not playing me. And I do obviously want to bring so much of myself to it.
Totally.
But I feel like there is so much freedom in walking a different way or talking a different way. I have like a tiny bit of an accent in my thing, and it's like
I have an accent too.
Yes, exactly. And it's like it's so
fun.
It's so fun and it's so freeing, and it allows you to actually, in this weird way, like learn a lot about yourself. Like it becomes really personal.
100%.
So fun. I similarly am like having so much joy in the balance of both. Like, no, it's allowing me to be also really excited about getting back into the studio and making Lawrence music, because I've had this moment of singing this other person's iconic music and playing this other person.
Yeah. Is the music in the show, do you feel like it's influencing? Are you writing right now? Like, are you?
Yeah. So we're like, I mean, being in New York, I'm from New York and my studio's in New York. So it's the first time where the days are becoming a little
finally
freer.
Becoming a normal person again.
Yeah, totally. So I'm like just getting back into the studio during the day and then going to do the show at night, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think that like the music in the show is necessarily influencing Lawrence music, but I think I'm just like performing all the time.
Yeah.
You just get better at your thing, like singing in a slightly different style. It still sounds like me probably to most people listening, but like I'm sort of somewhere in between my own voice and Connie Francis's voice in the show. And then just like being able to play around with your instrument, so to speak.
I mean, yeah, totally.
It makes you better.
I feel the same way. It's really like the stuff that I am singing in the show is a mix of like stuff
so good.
that's
Ugh.
I'm used to, like kind of more in my low range
Yeah.
folk stuff. And then there's also like crazy soprano lines that I have to sing. And so yeah, doing that every night, I'm like, I feel my voice getting stronger. And I feel like the music that I'm singing is really influencing how I'm writing. Like
Really?
even if it's not like stylistically, I mean, some of it is kind of, but I just feel like the
Your next album's like
complexity-
Schmoid Schmollins or something. Because everyone's like, Lizzy, it's kind of exactly the show. Sorry.
I feel like just Adam Guettle's music is so complex and like weird sometimes, and it never goes where you think it's gonna go. And that element of his music has really been inspiring me
That's cool.
to write different things and try new stuff.
Yeah.
And be outside of the box of what I normally do. And yeah, I feel like I'm really
Do you,
unlocking something.
I'm going to ask you the question that I get the most.
Okay.
Did you take singing lessons
Like growing up or for this?
for anything?
I grew up taking.
I asked this
don't really
because you have
remember.
such a like iconic and recognizable voice, and it's like, but it also sounds like trained, but not trained in the way that's like that it has no life. Like it is.
Thanks.
Like it's you sound like healthy.
Oh my God, thank
Dare
you.
I say healthy?
Well, I took lessons for like 1 year in 4th grade, but I wasn't learning anything. I would go and she would be like, "What song do you want to sing today?" And I would just sing karaoke the whole time.
That's so fun though.
It was fun.
That might be like
but
the
I
best
was
way
like,
to do it.
Did I learn how to actually sing correctly? I don't think
Yeah.
so. And I took lessons my senior year to prep for like auditions for
Yeah.
college. And that was more of like, we're singing opera and stuff.
Whoa.
And then
So can you sing opera?
no.
Okay. Just asking.
No, definitely not. And then when I was at Berkeley, I took voice lessons every semester because you have to, because I was a voice major.
Got it.
And then I took voice lessons to prepare for this because I was like, the soprano stuff it was so scary to me because I'm so used to singing in a certain range and like not really going outside of it.
Yeah.
And it was challenging, but I love a challenge.
Oh my God, it sounds so good. I said this to you after I saw the show, but I was like, I really think you're doing something so singular. Like, your voice sounds so well suited for this material, and it's like, it's awesome, and it's so cool, and like, it's so cool for Broadway, and it's such a cool marriage of different worlds.
Thanks.
I'm curious, like, how you got involved with your show.
I got a self-tape for it in my email.
We love that.
And I had never heard of the show before, but I knew Adam's music because I knew Light in the Piazza, which is like one of my favorite musicals ever. So I knew his name, and I was like, oh, let me listen to this music. I listened to the off-Broadway cast recording, and I was like, yeah, this is for me. This is the one. And I'd been kind of self-taping randomly for random things, and none of them really felt right. But the moment that I got the self-tape, I was like, this is for
You just
me.
know, right?
I just knew in my gut. So I sent the self-tape in. I only sent scenes. I didn't sing anything.
They didn't ask for singing in the
No, they
audition?
just sent like my tiny desk. They were like,
Flag.
here's this.
That's the flag.
And then yeah, I got a call back, and then I flew to New York to do the callback, final callback, did the workshop
Yeah.
in November, and then yeah, I'd just been finishing my Europe tour, so I flew from Dublin. I missed a week of the workshop. Flew from Dublin to New York, and the next day I was in the workshop, and it was a time of my life.
I did
honestly.
the exact same thing where I started the workshop the day after I got home from
Yeah.
my Europe tour.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's
Wait,
crazy.
also from Dublin.
That's crazy. Oh my God, we're so connected.
So yeah, same thing.
Wait, also I feel like I want to ask about.
That's so crazy, by the
That
way.
is
We're
crazy.
the only two people in the world who might be able to say that.
That's wild.
Not
Well,
that that's like
also-
a good thing.
I
Maybe actually a crazy thing. Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. I want to ask about. I read somewhere that you were saying that like Connie's experience in the show is like being the only woman in men-filled spaces, and I want to ask how your experience in the music industry affected the way that you play this role, because I also feel like Nellie's arc in the show is being the only young woman and every man telling her sit down and be quiet. And
Yeah, and she's like, she can I curse? She f***ing knows. She's like, the
No,
whole time
I
she's like,
know.
guys, like, I can communicate with him.
Yeah, I feel like I brought a lot of my experience being in a dominated man industry to this show.
I mean, I feel really lucky because I am in a band with 7 guys, but like they're all the most, like, they're feminist icons.
I mean, that's how I feel about my band too.
Totally.
I love them all so
and I think
dearly.
like we probably, that's by design too.
Totally.
It's like,
well, I had to go through a lot of other men to get to these good ones, you know?
Totally. I feel like so we're similarly lucky in that way of like, I feel like the people that are closest to me and the people that I work with on a daily basis are so amazing, and I feel like my voice is so valued in those rooms, especially because I am a woman. It's like, oh, great, we get this other perspective. Like, let's make sure we include that and utilize it. And so that's a really special thing. But I think that, you know, outside of those rooms, outside of that kind of isolated environment that we've built for ourselves, I've been on tour for most of the past 10 years. I started touring when I was 17. Like,
crazy.
Like,
crazy.
It's crazy. And you meet so many people who you're like, oh, you are not the 7 people that are closest to me. You know, you are different and maybe don't see what I bring to the table, and that's okay. But like, you know, I'm not going to make you one of the 7 closest people in my life.
Yeah.
So I think just being in the music industry for now 10 years, which is crazy, and then reading about Connie's experience, I mean, it's a totally different version of the music industry in some ways. She was like at the height of her career in like the late 50s.
Yeah.
And through much of the 60s as well, was like having many hits. But I think that one through line, I think, is wanting to have a voice and an opinion and a seat at the table, and trying to fight to have those opinions heard. We talk about it in the show, but like probably her most iconic song is Who's Sorry Now, which she didn't write. Is a song from, I believe, the 30s. I think I'm getting that right. So she's like doing a cover of it, and she didn't want to do that song. And then it became the largest song of her career. So in some ways, I think she's like, I'm glad I did it, but it was something that her dad forced her to do.
Wow.
And so that's a really interesting thing, to have a song that follows you your entire life and your whole career, that's about heartbreak and about something really sad and devastating, and not have it have been your choice.
Yeah. Wow.
And there's so many recordings of her doing that song for years. So I think about that a lot, especially when I'm performing that song in the show, of how these decisions, especially as a woman and especially in that time period, if you were not in control of your own destiny and your own career, how one decision can follow you for the rest of your life. And that's like, in the scope of her life in terms of decisions, probably not such a nefarious one, whereas other decisions that were made on her behalf were even more dangerous and more upsetting. So in that sense, I feel really lucky to be a woman in the music industry now, but it's why it's so interesting and important to like learn about the women that came before you, to be like, how do I chart my own destiny in a way that feels different and informed? And so it's been like a real privilege to be paid to read about someone that I literally would have read about not getting paid. I probably shouldn't say that. I want to get paid. But I would have done it for free. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And she's also iconic.
I mean, yes. And so are you.
Thanks. So are you.
I want to ask also about touring.
Yeah.
Do you like to tour?
Oh my God, I'm really excited to talk to you about
How
this.
has your experience doing this show compared to touring? Like, what is your
Okay,
vibe
so
on that?
How many years have you been touring? A while.
I started in like 2021.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. So I have so many thoughts. I mean,
same.
touring is so hard.
Yeah.
I think it's, from a lifestyle perspective, harder than doing a Broadway show.
Totally.
It's a different kind of scary.
Yep.
Like at this point, because maybe just how long I've been touring, I don't get as nervous for the shows themselves. And it's also different. Like, I'm playing me.
Yeah.
And
That feels harder to me.
That's interesting.
It feels harder for me to get on a stage as myself and just like give.
Why do you think that is?
I think I just am so sensitive that it's like I am myself and there's no wall between me and the audience. I'm not playing a character when
I get that.
myself. It's like I am just myself and I'm there. You can take all the energy from me. I'm giving you everything that I can as myself. And so it feels really draining to me.
Yeah, I
Like,
get that.
after a show, I have maybe 10 minutes in me where I can talk to people and then I have to go
I totally agree with that.
and stare at a wall for the rest of the
I don't
like,
understand the like post-show
No, me neither.
like party.
Nope.
I am such a drag. Like anytime there's been a party for like a show of mine, I am the first one to leave.
Same.
But yeah, I think that like the differences for me are I love performing, period. Like it is the joy of my life.
Yeah.
I love touring because I love playing shows.
Right.
The days surrounding the shows can be really hard and so disorienting, and like not having your own shower and like literally being like, is this food still edible? Like it's it's a crazy way to live your life.
It really is.
And so in that sense, I think it can be a lot more draining than even doing 8 shows a week, because at least like I have my own shower. Like I literally go home and I'm like, thank God for this shower.
We don't have to move.
We don't have to move.
It's
I'm
like
not wearing
we're just
shower
in
shoes.
literally.
I'm not like
Sleeping on a bus.
sleeping on a bus.
No.
So that's a crazy thing. But it's I do find that doing this in some ways, I find scarier in some ways, because I think for me when I'm doing a Lawrence show, I move around a lot. Like physically, I'm a very physical performer. I know. And I've been to your shows and I commented being like, I would be so scared to stand still. And then I'm like doing this where I have to stand still.
Yeah.
And that scares me because I am a physical nerves person. In the first scene I'm really outing myself right now, but in the first scene of our show, I hold a piece of paper, and for the first week of performances, I was like, this piece of paper, it's sheet music. I'm walking into a songwriting session, and I was holding the piece of paper, and I would like come in all confident, like and then be handed this piece of paper, and I'd be like, and I was like, like. Now everyone's gonna know I'm nervous, and then once other people know you're nervous, like then you become more nervous. So there's something about the stillness and the thing I prepare for the most before these shows is just like center your body. Like I jump around before so that when I get out there, my feet are like planted on the ground. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like, I feel wobbly.
Same. I mean, I've had to. I do stand and just sing for a lot of this, but also
you dance.
I've had to dance more than I've ever danced ever, and it's not even that big of a dancing role, but it's like that was scary for me. I think this whole thing has been scary because it's my first time on Broadway, and I'm like freaking out, kind of. And
as you should be.
Also,
like it's crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like I really, since we started performances, I feel like I'm really opening up more. Like in high school, how theater helped me come out of my shell, and I feel like it's doing similar things to me now. I feel like I'm really becoming freer and more comfortable in my body, especially on stage, but just in life too. And it's been interesting to like dance and like move my body, because at my shows I just sit. I sit and I sing.
That is crazy.
And I play instruments, and that's all I do. And
do you think you're gonna dance in your shows now?
Because that's just not the vibe of my music, I don't think. I think what I want my shows to feel like is like we're just all sitting around and like playing together in a living room, you know? It's like that's the vibe of my songs. So this has been interesting.
Oh my God. Do you think you want to do more acting?
Totally. It's definitely been on my bucket list for a while.
Yeah.
This kind of just came at the perfect time and was the perfect show and just felt so aligned.
Yeah.
And like the universe sent it to me. So I'm waiting for those things to come, you know?
Totally.
Because I don't want to just do something to do it. I want to do it if it like feels really right and is really cool. And
This show with your voice, like it's the correct match of identities. So I think that's a very wise take, because it's like you can do whatever you want. Might as well choose something that feels organic and correct, the correct fit. Yeah. It's an interesting thing, because now we're like occupying a few different
I know
vibes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've also been writing during this time.
Yeah. Are you working in a studio here?
No, I'm just writing in my apartment. I have no idea what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Because I had been writing a lot before I got here, and then I got here and started singing these songs every day, and then I started writing new songs that kind of sound different, and so I'm just kind of like seeing what happens.
And what will this become, your third album? Your fourth?
Yep.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm kind of just gonna wait until this is over and then go home to LA and see what the vibe is.
My God, I could go a whole other route with like music questions. I have so many things. We could talk for so long.
I know.
Yeah, you guys already recorded your cast album.
We did it this past week.
What was that experience like?
It was crazy. It was so wild because I'm obviously comfortable in the studio.
Yeah.
That's like what I've been doing up until now. But singing these songs on stage every night is so different than when you're like up against a microphone and you're now singing these songs that you're so used to hearing echo in a big space. And like the first couple takes I did of some of these songs, I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I was so disorienting. But it allowed me, honestly, to hear the orchestra better, because on stage, like, I'm hearing what I need to hear. I'm hearing guitar, I'm hearing the drums, whatever. But in the album, I mean,
So
in the studio, they were like playing the instrumentals. The band was there with us and they were playing, and I was like, oh my God, I never noticed that they play that there, and it's so good. And it was a really cool experience, honestly.
You were in ears on stage for a Lizzy show?
Yeah. Well, this past tour we did over-ear headphones.
Right. That was so cool.
To make it like this, we each had our own mixing.
I loved
thing,
that.
And it was great.
That's
the sound
so
was amazing.
cool.
Yeah.
For this, are you like, I can't hear anything?
Well, it was a
Which apparently is how
beginning.
everyone on Broadway feels. Like you can't hear yourself
It's
at all.
crazy. I mean, it was shocking, honestly.
Yeah.
But we've gotten the mix on stage now to be like perfect.
Yeah.
So we hear what we need to hear.
Yeah.
Which is all that we really need. But yeah, we don't hear everything. So I was hearing things in the studio. I was like, oh my God, that's so sick.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I'm excited. We haven't done ours yet, but I feel like I'm going to have a similar experience because we have like basically a big band.
Yeah.
And on stage, like I am right next to the horns, which is so similar to my life on stage, like with Lawrence, where I'm just like, I can't hear anything. Like I might as well belt so loud so that I could just hear myself. So that's my experience with that. So I am excited to go into the studio to record these songs because I feel like it's going to be a whole other sonic experience.
Yeah, I mean those songs are so, I love big band music. It's so sick.
It's so epic.
It's so epic.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm so excited for you to be in the studio and like listen to it in headphones.
Thank you. Wait, can I ask you the question I really wanted to ask?
Sure.
Where do you put your mic pack?
That
was when before this interview I said I had a really good question. That was the question I was thinking of.
Question. It's around my waist and it's just in my back on my back. And then we have
Did you have to ask two?
Two?
We have 2 mic packs.
What?
I guess we're fancy.
Oh my God.
We're fancy over there.
And do you wear yours on
no,
your forehead?
I wear it here.
Okay, same.
And then I put them in my legs.
Why do you have in your legs?
I wear little shorts that I put the mic in.
Why do you have 2? Do you know? Or do you,
I think it's if one fails.
Oh my God.
Then they can like be like,
wait, that's so smart.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you should tell your people. You should tell them I told them. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, that's crazy.
I know. And then I walk around like with like 2 mic packs like.
Oh my God. That's so crazy. No, mine is just on my back and I never feel it and I never notice it.
I just didn't want the 2 on my back.
Right.
Because I'm wearing this like skirt and then I felt like you could see it.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm wearing a huge heavy coat the whole time,
great.
so you can't, no one notices it.
I'm so glad I asked. Well, Lizzy, It's been real. This has been so fun. And I'm so glad we
nice to
did
talk to you.
this. And I hope other people find it interesting. But if they don't, I'm just glad we did it for myself.
for us.
It was
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Woohoo!